Jag has filed a whole declaration trying to run from Ashley Parham's lawsuit, the one she was claiming as a truth teller, Ashley Parham case, and it was Ariel Mitchell, that crazy cloud chasing lawyer. Well, she was trying to say that Ariel Mitchell is the one that is behind the lawsuit and made it frivolous. No, Ashley Parham made it frivolous. As I stated before, when I reported on Ashley Parham lawsuit against Diddy and Odell Beckham Jr., and even Drewski. Drewski came out swinging like, hold up, wait a minute. Back then, they didn't want me, and now I'm pretending to be a white guy, and they all love me, child. Anyways, Drewski said, I ain't got nothing to do with this, and Drewski filed a whole, I ain't read all them pages, he filed a whole, motion for sanctions against Ashley Parham. Like, look, I was broke back then. I don't know what you talking about. He gave all sorts of evidence to show he was a broke person back then. He wasn't there around the time of the place. So that was Drewski. And then now Odell Beckham Jr. has also responded. He's also trying to sanction Ashley Parham and the attorneys, Ariel Mitchell. He's trying to sanction as well because he has receipts that he had nothing to do with it. So we're going to go through Odell Beckham Jr.'s receipts, like what he, we already went through Drewski. So you're wondering, like, what did Drewski show? He showed a bunch of receipts showing he wasn't there. You have to remember, this is a update. So if you have not watched the one on Drewski, I suggest you check it out. Today we're talking about Odell Beckham and what he submitted to the court to prove that he had nothing to do with Ashley Parham's case. Now, as soon as I read Ashley Parham, the lawsuit the first time, I'm like, lies on top of lies. And then once she amended the lawsuit and she added Jacquelyn Pissy Pussy Wright as a trafficker and as a real associate of Diddy, I was like, I know you lying. You are lying because Jack has nothing to do with Diddy. And I'm not the one that said it. Jack said it herself too. She said, I have I never had nothing with Diddy. She was shaking in her hooves, y'all. She was shaking in them paws. So her teeth started rattling, child. She's like, I have nothing with Diddy. When she was so scared. I was in jail. She's a screamer. I'm in jail. When everybody and their mom and their grandma and ancestors and people was like, ancestors, hear me now. I was in jail. She was shook up, child. That lawsuit had her shook up. I'm not a sex trafficker, but you spent all your days and nights and moons and decades saying that you have supplied Diddy's freak off parties with sex workers. And you even said I was in a Diddy tape myself. I'm in a Diddy tape. And they said, are you in a Diddy tape? Yeah, I'm in a Diddy tape with the guy I just mentioned. Sean Carter? Yeah, Sean Carter. I'm in a Diddy tape with Sean Carter and Sean Combs. I'm in the freak off tapes. Since 2005, I've been supplying Diddy's parties with sex workers, and I don't go there to just look around and observe. I go there when I go to Diddy parties, I go there to walk bitches out. So for those that never been to Diddy freak off parties, can you tell us what they were like? Well, what I can say is I don't have firsthand, secondhand, thirdhand experience, first eyewitness, hearsay experience, or even third degree peripheral experience. But I supplied his parties with sex workers since 2005. I sent sex workers to his parties, and some of them came back in suitcases. They put girls in suitcases. So you've never been to a Diddy party, but you know what happens at the parties. I wasn't there, but my sex workers were there, and I would go to the parties to check on the sex workers, and they gave me all sorts of tapes. So I got Diddy freak off tapes all across America, and they're all in storage units. Oh, just waiting for me to find them. But ma'am, then you go to jail in Bossier County, Louisiana, and all your belongings were taken away in a U-Haul that was never Penske truck that was never recovered. So how can you have all your stuff? It was all taken in the Penske truck, and that was everything you had. Are you trying to ask me for questions and you're trying to ask me for receipts? I don't give people receipts. My word is the receipt. I am the truth. And when the truth comes out, that would be your receipt. So, child, yeah, but listen, let me tell y'all, Jacquelyn Wright, she said, if I'm lying, then sue me. Brian McKnight, I want you to sue me. So Brian McKnight has sued her. She was added to the Ashley Parham lawsuit, and she was added to another lawsuit, not as a defendant, but as a reference by just saying that she's some conspiracy theorist. How dare Vlad introduce me as a conspiracy theorist? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I tell the truth. I really did rescue 3 victims from Epstein Island. I swam across the ocean on my big back, and they rode on my back like So anyways, with that being said, we're going to go over her document that she actually submitted to the actual courthouse. Yeah, this is the same Jack that bragged about being a sex trafficker, but now doesn't want to be one. So now that her name is in black and white court papers, suddenly she is a jailbird with receipts. She went from I'm the plug to check my booking number real quick. 1 minute she trafficking stories on YouTube. The next she trafficking excuses to the judge. That's what you call test the line. She be out here test the line. Now I wish I could say she be out here testifying, but she out here test the line. I got a test the lie to tell you today. A test the lie. Okay? Under oath, and baby, Jad wasn't even served, y'all. She wasn't even served. She just filed this on her own. Self-snitching like she thought the judge was going to give her agreement for best excuses in a courtroom, child. Now, unlike Jack, when I responded to a lawsuit, it's because I was sent fraudulent subpoenas. So in order to deal with the fraudulent subpoenas, I had to respond. I wasn't served either. So if I wasn't served, I definitely wasn't gonna, go or respond. So with that being said, Jag was not served. So why in the world is Jag responding to this lawsuit? Is because she's scared and she wants to try to clear her name. She is worried about what people think of her. And a lot of people online, on Twitter especially, were running with the story that she is a sex trafficker. I mean, why wouldn't they believe that she's a sex trafficker when she herself has said, I sent sex workers to Diddy freak-off parties. She said it herself. I've been to Diddy parties and I go there to walk bitches out. So she's the one that put herself in the situation to be added to these frivolous lawsuits by people like Lamisha. So now there's also Beckham. So Beckham also responded to Ashley Parham's lawsuit with sanctions and with a motion for Rule 11 sanctions. So we're going to go over his. Now, I will say I'm not going to go over everything that he wrote, child. When I say that's too long, it's too long. But I'm nosy, so I'm going to go through exhibits. One thing I like about exhibits, it allows you to be extra nosy. People submit pictures. They be submitting all sorts of information in them exhibits. So if you go look at anything when you're looking at a case, is definitely look at the exhibits and see what evidence is being submitted, because somebody put a bunch of stuff in the actual lawsuit report or the body in the complaint, and then they barely won't have any evidence to back what they're saying. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at this letter, and then we're going to get into some other stuff. Okay, hold on. So Jack, hold on. So y'all, when StreamYard makes changes, it'd be so annoying. Okay, so this is what she wrote to the court. So I'm gonna go over this with you. And then we're also I'm gonna go to Beckham later. I'm not gonna go Beckham right now, okay? Just a second. So this is what Jag submitted to the court. Now Jag says Jacquelyn Suzette Wright. And it says, she put Pasadena. So I guess she has a P.O. box in Pasadena. And by the way, a P.O. box doesn't really mean anything as far as someone's real location. You can get a P.O. box anywhere or anything like that. But most likely, since it's like a P.O. box, not a virtual box, Pasadena, California, it's most likely where she's probably at or near or around that area. So, you know, Arizona might not be it, but at the same time, for the Brian McKnight lawsuit, he's also trying to serve her in California and like 4 different states to try to cover his bases. Okay, but he just believed that the main location was Arizona. But I mean, okay, so right here, she says, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I am the individual falsely named as a party or witness in a civil complaint filed by attorneys Sean R. Perez and Ariel Mitchell, and I am submitting this declaration in support of my request to be removed from that lawsuit is frivolous. I'm not a sex trafficker. I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth here, and if called to testify, could and would competently testify to them. Now, Jack, I don't know if you could be competently testifying to anything, okay? I don't think you could be competently testifying to anything. I was incarcerated at the time the events alleged in the complaint are said to have occurred. I was in custody at Cook County Jail from January 11, 2018 until April 11, 2018. A certified copy of my incarceration records, including my booking and release documentation, is attached as Exhibit A. So she said, look, she got a certified copy of her incarceration records, including her booking and release documentation, as attached as Exhibit A. I had no physical presence, knowledge, participation, or communication relating to the alleged incident, nor was I capable of doing so while in custody. How can I do that while I'm in custody in Cook County Jail from January 11, 2018 until April 11, 2018? I request the court to strike or dismiss me from the case in full, as I was falsely identified or maliciously included. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States and the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. My, how interesting. So Jacquelyn Suzette Wright has replied to this Ashley Parham lawsuit, says executed this 29th day of August 2025 at Pasadena, California. And then there go her scribble scrabble child. A mess, Jag. So then she gonna go ahead and put, what kind of evidence is this? What kind of evidence is this? Look at it. Look at the quality. This is the best you can do. So then she submits the evidence that she was incarcerated for child abduction, failure to return a child, January 7, 2018. And then she gives the whole timeline of events and orders of the court to prove that she was incarcerated and her bald head and diapers was in jail. So there's no way she could be a part of the Ashley Parham lawsuit. Lord, she about to piss her pants. So now, you know, Drewski submitted his proof, so Jack got to submit her proof. Now, look at this writing. This is the writing of a deranged woman. Look how she writes and just, oh my gosh. So anyways, that's Jack received September 2nd, 2025. And then, so what do y'all think about that? And then we have Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham, let me tell you something. 268 pages, you done lost your mind, okay? 'Cause you think I'm gonna sit here and read 268 pages? That's my whole life. So Odell Beckham also responded to this frivolous lawsuit by Ashley Parham. He is not playing with Ashley Parham or her lawyers. He hit the court with a Rule 11 sanctions motion, basically telling the judge, these folks are lying on my motherfucking name, and